Welcome everybody, and this is my new video, and my new video for strategies, tactics, and boosts for this week's event. And we are going, of course, to see the 8 tracks for North American Origin Series event for the opening and finals round. And the tracks we're going to examine are Austria, Canada, Imola, Mexico, Baku in Azerbaijan, Spain, Barcelona, Sao Paulo, Brazil, and last Australia. These are the 8 tracks we're going to examine today. And we did it in our last video for strategies, tactics, and boosts, and we will do it in this video, and from now on we will do it in every video of this series. We are going to examine not only the middle of the pack, but we are going to say a few things for all of the players that are on the starting grid. They are at the back of the grid, below 15th, 16th place. So maybe we will be a little bit more helpful to even more players. So let's begin with our first track, which is Austria. And in Austria, as we said, a track that is similar to Bahrain. It's a fast track which needs a lot of acceleration, and of course you can go with acceleration or with corners and grip with tracks like this. Tracks like Austria and Bahrain, they have lots of corners and lots of middle straights. So acceleration and corners grip are what we need to have here. So let's... Oh, this is my mistake. Give me 1 minute. Now we are okay. Okay, fix that. Well, that happens when you are the director and the presenter of a show too, by yourself. So let's see what we have here in Austria. So in Austria, we mostly like to go with one pit stop. So 5 laps with a medium compound and 4 laps with the medium compound again. And the driver that will go 5 laps in his first stint, we are having him use Herald or Vice as his boost, as the boost for our first driver. The driver that will go 4-5, he's going to use Downforce or Eagle. But in our last race, in our last event, when we raced in excuse me, when we raced in Austria, we had a little bit of a problem. For those of you that saw the video, the live stream, or later the video, we were stuck behind Leclerc. We couldn't in our first stint, and we couldn't overtake him. So and one of you guys in the chat at the moment said that we should have gone in the pit earlier and changed our strategy, and I think he was correct. he did a very good observation, and that's why I'm gonna say this. Okay, we suggest that we can go with the soft compound, 2 pit stops, 3-3-3, and we will use wood or tune in. But sometimes, and in Austria you can do this, you are in your first stint. It doesn't matter with whom. The driver that is going 5 laps in his first stint, or the driver that goes 4 laps is in his first stint. We know that there are some drivers in F1 class like Leclerc and Norris that they are almost impossible to overtake. So we check if we are stuck behind a driver like this. We check if we have the medium compound and they have medium or soft. 99% we're not going to overtake them, whatever we do. So maybe we can do on the spot a change of strategy, and instead of 5-4 or 4-5, we decide go in the pit stop, go in the pit lane on our third lap, and change our plan to 3-3-3. Okay, the first thing would be with a medium compound, but then we will choose the soft compound and try to do the undercut and overtake Leclerc, Norris, or the driver that we were stuck behind with this strategy. So don't hesitate. I did hesitate and I lost a lot of points because I hesitated to change my strategy. Don't hesitate to change your strategy when things like this come during a race. We have to be flexible during a race, and because maybe we're stuck behind another driver. A safety car comes when it's not so convenient for us. There are so many things that can happen. Maybe one of our drivers aren't in a good day. He's losing positions and we have to do something about it. So don't hesitate to change strategies, especially in tracks where we have where we can have different strategies. We can test different strategies. Okay, if we are in Singapore, which is a 7-lap race track, it's more difficult to change your strategy. Okay, you can go, instead of 3-4, you can go 3-2-2 or 2-3-2, 2-2-3. You can change your stints, but it depends when something happens. So maybe there it would be more difficult, but here in Austria it's very easy to change your plan. So I'm telling you, I regret not doing this in the last event. Anyway, that's it for Austria. Nothing to change at the moment. Things are going very well with this strategy and with these boosts. So we will test it again this week, and maybe we will need to go with 2 pit stops. Who knows? We'll see. So let's leave Austria and go to track number 2, which is Canada. A track that we all know needs speed if we are talking about sector 3, but it also needs a little bit of grip and corners at the rest of the track. So that's why, oops, come back. Okay. And it's back. I forgot, we have 29% of raining, so let's examine both possibilities. in our wet race, if it's a wet track, our first driver can go very and we have done it successfully. 5 laps with a medium compound and 3 laps with a soft compound with downforce, alternatively with Nazar. And our second driver can so the first driver's approach would be corners and grip, and we will play the long game. We are going 5 laps with a medium compound. For our second driver, we can go 4 laps each stint with a medium compound, and we will go using the speed factor here. So that's why Eclipse or Gladiator. My first choice would be Eclipse and my second would be Gladiator. And let's see the difference between these two. So here is Gladiator, which gives us lots of speed and fuel use, much needed when we push, and some blocking. Okay, I think blocking isn't a factor here when we go 4-4. It would be a factor if we go 5-3 and in a couple of laps we could go on the green maybe, but 4-4 we can push a lot. The medium tires can go easily 4 laps in Canada without and we can press a lot, we can push a lot, so defense is not a big issue here. That's why my first choice would be Eclipse, because we have a little bit of fuel use, which it's needed, and we have 5 in speed and we have 3 in overtake. And you know, we all know that in Canada overtaking is difficult, so that's why for this strategy, for going fast and wanting to overtake inside the track at the big straight in sector 3, well, Eclipse it's better than Gladiator. Now, all these are if you are at the middle of the pack. If you start below the 15th, 16th position at the grid, at the starting grid, then go with the undertake, go 3 laps with a soft compound and 5 laps with a medium compound. So here we will need, let's see, we all know Eagle. No, yep, give me a minute. I was looking at something else. Okay, we all know Eagle. Because we have the second stint 5 laps with a medium compound, we need a little bit more tire management than if we go 5-3. Okay, because we are going to push in our second stint here, so we need more tire management. Eagle is very good at this. We have grip and we have 4 in tire management, but we could easily use Rooster too, and you see it here. Rooster is giving us 4 in tire management, 1 in grip. It gives us 4 in blocking, and here let's see something. In our first stint, maybe we are with a soft compound and probably we will push a little, not so much because we are not overtaking anyone in Canada, even with a soft compound. So we just want to go on the yellow with normal speed, but we use a fast compound, the soft compound, for the first 3 laps. We are not pushing so much, and because we are not pushing so much, maybe we will be stuck in traffic, and maybe we will need a little bit of blocking. So that's why it's a good alternative. Rooster is a good alternative about it. Eagle is even better for what we want to do, but Rooster would give us what we want and protect us in our first stint where we are not going to push so much. So that's it for the dry race, and if you begin at the beginning or at the back of the grid. Now for a wet race, well, I think for both cases, if in the middle of the pack or at the back of the pack, probably we will go with the same strategies. 3-5 for one driver and 5-3 for the second driver. We could easily when we are in the middle of the pack, instead of 3-5, go select for our second driver 4-4 with the same boosts, Hex or Koopa, and for our first driver 5-3 as if it was a dry race, and Frost or Prince for our boosts. And let's see Prince and why we are choosing Prince. So 5-3, okay, Frost will give us lots of tire management, which will give us a lot of margin to push and go on the red a lot. But what Prince gives us is defense and corners, and here in when we go, it's a different approach when we go to go 5 laps with the wet compound in our first stint. Well, we can go on the with a normal speed. We're not pushing a lot. We will push only on the fourth, after the 4th lap, on our 5th lap, when at the end of the 4th and all our 5th lap, when everybody will go on the pit stop, on the pit lane for the pit stop, and we will push them to overtake them and try to make a gap big enough to have our pit 2 on the 5th lap. So because we are not pushing a lot in our first stint, only at the last lap, we will need defense in order not to be overtaken. That's why Prince would be it's an alternative tactic. With Frost we can push a lot in our first and in our second stint. With Prince we are not pushing in our first stint, we push only in our last lap, and that's why we need to have good blocking in our boost. It depends on the strategy, on the way everybody is playing. So for our second driver, if you are at the back of the grid, 3-5 is perfect with Hex or Koopa, and we all know Hex, but let's go and see Koopa. And the same boosts we will use. You can use if you are in the middle of the pack, but you will choose 4 laps each stint, 4 and 4. Again, you are going to choose Hex or Koopa. Okay, it's a different strategy, but with the same boosts and tactic, with the same boosts. For 3-5, you will go as the 3-5 in the dry conditions, calm and just waiting in your first stint, and then pushing in your second stint in order to, when other drivers on the 4th lap and some in the 5th lap go in the pit stop, you are going to push to overtake them while they are pitting. If we go 4-4, the best boost would be Hex, because we need to overtake drivers inside the track during the race, so Hex is the best for it. But a good alternative would be Koopa, because it's very good in raining. You see, it has 5 in wetness, but it gives us a little bit of acceleration and 2 in overtaking, and it's a good alternative to use here. And let me see something else that I wanted to show you. Another good alternative would be Cranberry, which is again 5 in wetness and 3 in overtaking. Okay, it gives you a little bit of consistency too. So you can choose either of these two boosts. So that's it for Canada. And track number 3 is Imola. Okay, here let's get to it. So if you are in the middle of the pack, 2-3-3 your first driver, 3-3-2 your second driver, the middle stint with medium, the other 2 stints with the soft compound, Deadfast, Eclipse, Firework, Instinct, Hex. Imola is for me one of the fastest tracks there is in F1 class, so you go as fast as you can. Now, if you are at the back of the grid, you will for sure go 2-3-3 your first driver. Not your first, your second driver will go 2-3-3, the one that starts at the back. If you have P18 and P20, let's say, the driver that it's in P20, he will go 2-3-3. On your first stint, 2 laps with a soft compound, don't push, just go with the traffic. Get in after your second, at the end of the second lap, to do your pit stop. You will go out 24th, and probably with a big gap between you and the 23rd driver. You are with the medium compound, and push the red button and just leave it for 3 laps. Don't do anything. Don't stop pushing. 3 laps with the red button without hesitation. At the end of 5th lap, you will go into the pit lane, do your second pit stop. You will put the soft compound for the last 3 laps, and you will not need to push there. You will just cruise the last 3 laps, because you won't have enough fuel because of pushing in your second stint, but you will not need to push in your last stint. The job will all be done in stint number 2 with a medium compound in laps 3, 4 and 5. So for your driver that starts at the highest place, if you are at the back, we are here below P16, P15. Go one pit stop, 4 laps each stint, and you can go with a medium compound using Street Shark, because with a medium compound you will need tire management, or you can use Lumberjack, or what else? Maybe Deadfast, because Deadfast gives us, yes, Deadfast. You can use Deadfast, but you will pick the hard compound for both of your stints. So 4 laps with a hard compound, and again 4 laps with a hard compound, your first driver, and you are pushing only at the big straight at the end of sector 3 and the beginning of sector 1. You know, you are pushing only there. No, nowhere else. You just need to push there, and you will see you will gain a lot of places, and don't hesitate to put to use the hard compound. With Deadfast, the hard compound acts like you have the soft compound on. Don't worry about it. Okay, so that's it for Imola, and Imola was track number 3. Yep. Track number 4 is Mexico, and here we don't have rain, but as you can see we have 2 straights, one middle and one a little bit big. So let's see what we are doing here. 5-3 for your first driver if you are in the middle of the pack, and 4-4 Downforce and Nazar, the boost. 4-4 for your second driver. You can go 4 laps with a soft compound and 4 laps with a medium compound using hook, Skull, or Jin. Oops, what have I done here? Okay, let me, that was, okay, we are back, and here you can use hook, Skull, or Jin. Skull is great here, but, and hook is very good here, but in your first stint, 4 laps with a soft compound, you have to go a little bit easy. Now, a good alternative, it could be 4 laps with a soft compound, 4 laps with a soft compound, and use Taurus and push in both stints, because Taurus gives us fuel and tire management. It's a good alternative and you can go for it. But okay, let me, come on now, really? Okay, these things happen. Okay, so excuse me for that, I forgot to put on silent the my mobile phone. So that's an alternative. We used it in Hungary, it was good enough. We can use it in Mexico too. So if you're in the back of the pack, again 3-5 is better than 5-3. Your last driver, the driver that is in the lowest place, in the lowest position, 3-5, soft compound, medium compound. You can use palm, you can use hook. Well, let's see again, palm. Palm gives us a little bit of tire usage. Okay, a little bit of blocking, a lot of blocking, but very good overtaking. And you can choose this one too. And maybe this one, although I'm not writing it and I have to write it down, maybe this one is even better here, because we have 2, it gives us 2 in tire usage, it gives us a little bit of grip, and we have 5 in overtaking. So Eternal Flame maybe is even better here when we want to overtake, and don't hesitate to use Eternal Flame even if you go 4-4 with a soft compound or with a medium compound. It would be very useful. It was a thought that I made just now, and I forgot that Eternal Flame can be so useful in strategies, in tactics like this. So, change of plans, maybe in 3-5 and even in 4-4 Eternal Flame would be very good, maybe the best solution to use, to go with it. So that's it for track number 4, and track number 5 is Baku. And here, okay, we all know that we don't have so much to see. 2-3-3 and 3-3-2 if you start in the middle of the pack. But if you Dead Fast, Eclipse, Gladiator, Firework, Hex, you know what we mean when we say fast and furious. But if you are at the back of the grid, your first driver, your last driver, excuse me, your last driver will go 2-3-3 again. It's the same thing. We are using the undercut. When you are at the back of the grid, the undercut is a very useful tool, a very useful strategy to gain places. So 2-3-3 for your driver that is at the back, at the lowest position, and for your first driver, which will be P15, P16, P17, P14 maybe. Okay, we go one pit stop, Street Shark or Eternal Flame with a medium compound because we need tire management. But if you choose the hard compound, and I would say go for it, don't hesitate to go with a hard compound. Eclipse, Lumberjack, Dead Fast, Firework, go with the fastest of the fast boosts that you have on your arsenal. And well, probably my first choice would be Street Shark and the medium compound, probably. But if you are going, don't hesitate to use the hard compound, but then choose a very fast, even faster boost like Eclipse or Lumberjack. So that's it for Baku, and let's go in Barcelona, where it's a little bit like Mexico or Hungary. It's the same thing more or less, but Barcelona is a little bit more needy in tire management. So we have a little bit of changes here, and let's see what we are picking. 5-3 for our first driver, medium and soft compound. 5 with a medium, 3 with a soft compound. Downforce or Nazar, our picks. For our second driver, we can again choose, like we said, Taurus 4-4 with a soft compound only, or we can go with Kavai or Jin, maybe Skull, maybe Oud, because we need corners and grip. If we approach this with corners and grip, some of the guys, some of the players, and they have give me this feedback, they are going 4-4 with a medium compound using Dead Fast, Eclipse, and it's a good strategy too. It's a good alternative too, because we have a big straight in Sector 1. So it would be useful it would be a good choice. But for at the moment, let's stick with this. And of course, for our friends that start at the back of the grid, 5-3 for your first driver, 3-5 for your second driver, and then use Taurus or Frost. Eternal Flame, it's a little bit on the edge to go 5 laps with a medium compound, but you can. You will not push a lot, but you can. Taurus 3-5, it would be a great choice in order to achieve the undercut for your driver that starts very low, in a very in a very low position. Okay, so that's it for Barcelona, and let's go, and that's interesting, to Brazil. Well, we say Brazil is a very fast track, but as we can see, but here we have 100% raining. So what can we do? Well, our first driver 5-3 with Frost or Dragon, and let's see, Dragon is giving us 3 entire management, and 3 entire management is enough to go 5 laps with a wet compound and push, not all the 5 laps, but for a couple of laps you can push with Dragon and go 5 laps, and then of course you will have the fuel and the tire to push in your second stint even more. If you begin at the back, again try and go for the undercut, 3-5, but then the best choice is Frost, because you want to push in your second stint too a lot. So it's better to go with Frost. If you don't have Frost, okay, Dragon will do the job too. For our other driver, 4-4, 1 pit stop again, but equal stints. Hex, our first driver, Hex, our first choice, but alternatively we can go with Cranberry, which is a very good boost for wet conditions, for a wet race, and it helps us a lot with overtaking. If you don't have Hex, well, Cranberry is a very good alternative here in Brazil when it's raining. And last but not least, let's visit Australia. This is a difficult one, we all know it. A difficult track to overtake. We have a few spots we can do this, and even there it's very difficult. And we have a 10% possibility of raining, so we have to see rain. Okay. A wet race too. So our first driver 5-3 with Taurus probably, or Eagle or Frost, and our second driver 3-3-2 all soft with Deadfast, Eclipse or Firework. But maybe I was thinking we can go 3-3-2 and not with Deadfast, Eclipse or Firework, but to use Hex, which has 5 in overtaking. We can use Eternal Flame, which has 5 in overtaking. I'm thinking a lot of these boosts that have 5 in overtaking, maybe it will help us overtake in some certain spots. I haven't decided yet. I have seen 3-3-2 with Deadfast work, but maybe we will try something different. Maybe Hex is the best combination to be fast and to have very good overtaking. We'll see. If you are starting at the back of the grid, of course you can always go 1 pit stop for your second driver too. 4-4 Oud, Jin or Kawai, probably Oud to have a quick pit stop and maybe overtake some drivers because there will be a lot of traffic in the pit stop at the 4th lap. If you are at the back of the grid, again, try the undercut, 3 laps with a soft compound and 5 laps with a hard compound, Taurus, Eagle or Frost for sure. And if you are at the back of the grid and you go your second driver 3-5, try 4-4 or 5-3 your other driver. Don't go for 3-3-2, not even 2-3-3, no. 3-5 your one driver, your second driver, your first driver 4-4 or 5-3. So now if it rains, it's almost the same. 4-4 tune in or wood for a quick pit stop, maybe hex if you want to try and overtake inside the track, which is something difficult, but who knows. It's even difficult when it rains. And for your second driver 5-3, here we can go with Tsar, which gives us corners too. We can go with Frost, and of course there is always Tune In, which gives us corner, quick pit stop, and corners, quick pit stop, and it's a rainy boost. If you are at the back, you can always try again 3-5 for your second driver. So that's it for our tracks today. That's it for our tracks for this weekend. I hope this video was helpful. I hope you liked it. As I said, I tried to give some points, some suggestions, not only where you are in the middle of the pack, but where you are when you are at the back of the pack, at the back of the grid. Subscribe to the channel, stay tuned, more videos and live streaming are coming. Thank you so much. Have a nice racing weekend.